guys, and welcome to our resting place. It's good to see you today. Thank you so much for stopping by as we take a little car journey together for relaxation and sleep. So, the aim of today's video is to help offer you a little bit of distraction, to help offer you a bit of relaxation, and hopefully aid you into a peaceful slumber today. Now, how I plan to do that is through the visuals, offering you some distraction from everything that's going on right now in your life, and with my soft-spoken and whispered voice to help you relax and hopefully offer you some help in sleep as well. So that is the aim of today's video. So I am recording during the day, so I wish to apologize for any background noise that may appear briefly. I will do my very best to edit said noises out, such as seagulls, etc. But that's life, isn't it? So I am taking you on a journey around the country roads and the back roads up in North Wales today. This bit of footage I had recorded prior to the whole lockdown debacle, so it felt like quite a good place to retreat to and to delve into for a little bit, because it's sometimes a little bit of a reminder that the restrictions that have been put in place won't last forever. It's a very short-term thing in the grand scheme of things. It's not years long, so don't worry. I don't know about you, but quite often I wish I could just sleep through the whole debacle and wake up after it's done. I'm sure you can relate to that a little bit, at least. Oh dear. Anyway, so I slowed down the footage a little bit as well, because even though I was only going 30 miles an hour, on camera it seems like it's going way quicker, and to me that seemed a little bit jarring, so I slowed down the footage about, I don't know, 70% or something like that, in order for it to be a little less like immediate, I guess, as well. So yeah. So we are currently headed around the Anglesey Island, specifically headed towards like the Trather Bay region, and in the summertime this place gets packed with tourists who come down to enjoy the sandy beaches. It's a lot like Cornwall, I guess, in a lot of ways. Like summertime is absolutely chock-a-block, but I guess we'll see this summer, right? It's quite a needed joke, that maybe. But So it felt like, while it was still quiet, it seemed like the perfect opportunity to drive and capture some footage, essentially, you know. And normally along this bit of road, it's incredibly busy. Like, cars have to wedge on by one another, which can be kind of tricky, but you know, we make it work. I was just so happy to see blue skies, to be honest with you. Spring is in the air, right? Spring is still in the air, and one consolation to this whole thing is the fact that there are sunnier days and slightly warmer days coming. I'm so glad it's not winter in a lot of ways. I'm so glad we're getting a little bit of respite from the rain up here in North Wales, at the very least anyway. And I am so glad that you are here right now to take this drive with me, you know. I really should be RPing this, really, and offering you like a cup of coffee that I've prepared or something like that. I'd actually tried that in some of my previous and earlier videos, RPing, offering coffee and stuff like that. It's not really something that comes too naturally to me, unfortunately, so I'm not as good at it, so I need to work on that, I guess, a little bit. I've said quite a lot over the years that I'd like to RP the oilman from There Will Be Blood, but I still haven't quite plucked up the courage to do so just yet, but I hope to before long as well. Oh, one good thing is that I think I'm finally, after about 2.5 years, eligible to live stream now as well from a mobile device, which is cool. So I've changed my phone plan so that I have unlimited data, so that I can, you know, take you out for nature walks and live stream it, in the hopes that it might offer you some breathing space, you know, especially if you have issues about going out in public. I guess that's even more pertinent at the moment with this whole quarantine situation, but after this whole thing settles down, if you suffer with agoraphobia or something like that, then I can take you for walks through live streams and stuff like that, and I'll try and live stream some games and stuff like that as well. I'm going to try my lapel mic a little later on to see how I get on with that, see if I can make it work or something, you know, because at the moment I want to take full advantage of live streaming a lot more, because I'm really not getting to do enough of it, really, you know. If you are so inclined, please comment down below on your favourite ASMR artists currently, or the ones that help you relax the most, because I'm really curious to reconnect now that there's a little bit of downtime, possibly. So I'm kind of curious to do that. I've been trying to get my hard drive up and running again. I've only got this tiny little Seagate backup drive, but on it are the most important things in the world: pictures of family and friends and stuff. So I've been trying to get that working so that I can take all of the footage of it and essentially put them into YouTube videos, because I can't think of a safer place than them being uploaded in a public forum for everyone to enjoy, really. For so long I struggled to keep pictures and stuff like that safe, whether it be in the physical format or whether it be in the digital format on backup drives and stuff, and eventually they all end up getting corrupted, lost or broken or something like that. So now I'm like, oh well, I'm just going to put them all up on like YouTube as videos so that they exist somewhere in a physical form. I mean, I run music, prose, poetry vlog channel as well alongside this one, so I do a lot of music related stuff there as well, and go through the old bits of footage I've acquired over the years from gigging and talking about my genesis into music, really, and how it began and how it's gone. I'm really just doing that more so for myself more than anything else, I think. With this channel, it's a pleasure to be able to offer my calm, whispered voice to relax people and to offer them some distraction, some companionship, essentially. But with the music, prose, poetry, vlog stuff, it's all just for my own enjoyment, really, so that one day I can look back over it and watch it, and it's available for everyone to watch, really, you know. That thing is actually the willow thing that helps me fall asleep every night. That guy is awesome for helping me sleep. He's my go-to dude every time, and congratulations to you on the recent news, my friend, if you're watching. I must admit I haven't been catching up with a lot of the ASMR community as such, other than the two Facebook groups I run promoting people's work. I haven't really caught up with a lot on Twitter and things like that, and even less so now with the way things are currently for the short time. And it's just been very much work, and making time for loved ones and whatnot. I'm really happy to be incorporating the dementia aid support videos onto the channel, and I think I've labelled them correctly so as not to be confused with the ASMR videos anyway, because they're not soft spoken or whispered or anything like that in any way, shape or form. They're just dementia support videos from my experience, and I have currently about 60 various topics to discuss in regards to dementia support, so I'm really looking forward to delving deeper into that as well. And I have an unending supply of videos for ASMR and whatnot. I mean, I essentially integrate it into my life now so that it just becomes as one. So it never feels boring, and it never feels like there's not enough stuff to do in terms of videos, I mean, I don't think my videos are necessarily your standard like trigger videos or your standard roleplay videos as such, but more of a documentation rather than a creation of my experiences and where I'm at, maybe, I guess, a little bit. Just reflecting really and rambling right now at you, essentially, to help you relax a little bit. That's all I'm doing. I'm really getting into the flow of doing longer videos, really, and having to get prepared to do longer So I'm really just gearing up to do more of that. And I think the best way for me to do that is just to ramble at you, to consciously ramble at you to help you fall asleep. I don't think I could do an hour's worth of unintelligible whispering, for example. Stuff that would probably drive me crackers. There has to be some form of human connection, I think, in anything that I do. And I think that to me is where the payoff is in anything that I do, being able to connect on a human level with you. Because if I don't get to do that, then I don't necessarily get the same level of satisfaction, if that makes any sense whatsoever. It's intrinsically important for me to connect on a human level, as I'm sure it is for a lot of us, unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath, right? I've met plenty of those, trust me. Personally and professionally. Just taking a drink of coffee there. I didn't want my voice to get all like gluey and stuff. Like, I just wanted to keep it nice and smooth as possible for you. Oh, that tip for you: just drink black coffee if you want the smooth voice. Seems to work every time, you know. That's how we do it. So tell me, do you have any pets or any animals? If so, what have you got and how many have you got, and how are you coping with the current lockdown situation? I currently have no pets residing with me. Wolf Mama has a couple of rabbits, so it's not really too much of a strain on me personally. When I was growing up, I grew up around animals, loads of various cats, loads of various dogs, goldfishes, giant snails, hamsters, gerbils, you name it, the whole shebang. I think we've all been through that on some level, maybe. But yeah, I was just curious how you're coping with your animal and the quarantine situation for a little bit. Yeah, because that was a running thought, was whether the vets will be open, or vets will be open for business. Yeah, just a running thought through my mind, essentially. Okay, so this spot down here, I think, is called Silver Bay, and it leads on to 4 Mile Bridge. And as a youngster, we used to go for like midnight walks along this bit and freak each other out, telling each other's, me and my buddies telling each other scary stories as we walked along these country roads. It was quite humorous in retrospect, you know, looking at it during the daytime now, but walking through there as teenagers at night, like a group of us, was very scary. But I guess that's one of the biggest thrills growing up, is going camping with your buddies. Did you grow up in that era where you would get to your teenage years and go camping on the weekend with your friends and hang out and just be super mischievous in the middle of nowhere? Like, I don't know, like blasting loud music, or making a campfire and stuff like that, or just being really loud and hollering and whatnot. I used to do it a lot. I used to bring like a tape player or a Walkman and used to blast music, and we used to dance around the fire and stuff like that. I remember I had a tape, Born Slippy by Underworld, and a couple of Prodigy singles like Breathe or something like that, and we would go and blast them in our tents when we were camping together, and it was awesome, like 3 a.m. just blasting music in the middle of nowhere, being complete idiot teenagers. But there was no one living around to disturb, so it was fine. We always picked somewhere quite quiet, and we always picked up our rubbish and took it with us as well. We never ever littered. That was always instilled in us from an early age, I think, in a lot of ways. So yeah, it's good, real good, really good. I miss those days a little bit. Well, a little bit, yeah. I don't miss the exhaustion and the tiredness and stuff, and not understanding the impact that sleep had on your anxiety levels. It took me to I was like 24, 25 to realise that if you don't sleep enough, then your general adrenaline and anxiety goes up during the day, and it's really noticeable, and you really notice it within you. I don't know if you've ever had that yourself, but it's a heck of a thing. I mean, just really being able to understand where that anxiety is coming from and how it's affecting you in terms of your sleep, and then struggling to get back to sleep because you're so anxious and afraid to let go. Oh dear me, it's like a vicious circle until you're too tired to stay awake and you just drop off to sleep. It's at that sublime moment where you drop off to sleep, where if you can time it correctly, that you go to bed around like 7 p.m. or something like that, and you wake up around 7 a.m. the next morning, like 12 hours of solid sleep. It's incredible. So incredible. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10 recommendations there. So at this point we're at 4 Mile Bridge here now. We are going to back up and go back down towards Trother Bay, I think, here. And really, Trother Bay is the place to go in the summertime, I think. Or at least it's where everyone gathers together, I should say. Yeah, it's the place that everyone sort of comes to when the sun is out for the 2 weeks of summer that they get up in here in North Wales. That's a joke in a way. Let me just take some coffee, my friend. In a lot of ways, North Wales is very beautiful. I feel very spoiled to have all of the natural beauty. Beaches dotted all the way along the coastline, inundated with beaches and all that natural beauty. It just seems to be the low opportunity for growth in terms of industry, socio-economically speaking, I guess. I mean, there are a few industries present, I guess, in this area of the world, but not in the same way as it once was, I think. You know, things have changed so much. People work from home these days, which is great, I think, in a lot of ways. You know, there's still an opportunity to connect and to feel attached on a certain emotional mental level, I guess, especially through this medium, for example. Whereas a lot of people might see obstacle, I always see growth and an opportunity, I think, in a lot of ways, and it just really depends on your perspective and the way that I guess you grew up. Kind of always had my mindset challenged by my friends growing up, so that kind of helped me see various viewpoints and have a fairly decent perspective on things on life. Gosh, I don't want to get too deep or anything like that. It's nice to ramble a little bit, I guess. It's nice to talk, isn't it? It's nice to get it off our chest. So here's a pro tip or a life hack. Don't pay too much attention to the news. Don't listen to the news 24/7. Allocate 5 minutes of your day where you're at your most mentally strongest to digest a little bit of news and then go back to your routine. That's my recommendation, because my anxieties were through the roof when the initial news hit. I was just consuming it thick and fast until I realised you have to put the stops on for your own survival, really, if you know what I mean. So do that. That's my recommendation. Do that. The weather is better. Stick your head out of the window for a little bit. Breathe in that sunshine. For what it's worth, right? So this road up here is called Ravens Point Road, and further at the top is where we filmed our music video Visitant with the band Bastions back in the day, all around the headlands. It was quite a frantic hardcore punk song, and using all of the natural beauty that we had, we filmed on a very grim and ghastly day a video there, and it turned out really well, and the guy that we worked with at the time was super quick and super on it, and he did such an incredible job. Much respect and love to him, that's for sure. But yeah, I do like going for drives down this area, and you get to see all of the holiday homes and whatnot, and you get to see like the grandiose homes and stuff like that. I mean, I never grew up like this whatsoever. I mean, terraced housing sort of situation myself, from day one. Never had anything grandiose whatsoever myself, but it's nice to see it and nice to drive around it, I guess, in a lot of ways, if you follow me. Maybe one day, right? Maybe one day. But sort of being up this area and being so close to the coastline is just so freeing for your mental health and just your spirit, soul, and body to breathe again, It's so important to do in so many different ways, Just take a drink of some coffee. Bear with me a moment. So, what are you going to binge watch then? Are you going to partake in Animal Crossing on the Nintendo? I'm seriously considering buying one of these console thingies. Gosh. I mean, for me, when I was growing up, what was it? Okay, so I started with the Atari when I was a kid. My dad had the Atari, and I used to watch him play Empire Strikes Back and Pac-Man and stuff like that. And what came after that? I think the next console that came after that was like a Master System or something like that, which was like it was a Sega related console, and that was so much fun. It had Alex the Kid built into it, and it had like Dead Angle and Sonic and all these various games. Streets of Rage. No, I don't think it had Streets of Rage. But anyway, I managed to secure a Mega Drive courtesy of my parents, and it was incredible just playing Mega Drive, Sonic on that, and like Streets of Rage on that definitely, and a few other games. It was just super addictive. Literally no save spots in the game, so if you got to the very end and you were defeated by the big boss, you'd have to start all the way from the beginning. I think the same with Kid Chameleon and stuff like that as well. Oh man, it takes me back. Because you never realise how much joy these things bring you until you sort of look back, and you have that hindsight and that perspective, really, at least. That's what I found anyway, especially when you look at the gaming currently at 2020, where you have games like Fortnite and games like Roblox for little kids and Minecraft and whatnot, and how much joy that brings to them, and how much the style of game playing has changed. You know, I mean, there was a heavy emphasis on shooting games when I was growing up, but you see a lot less of it these days. I mean, it's still prevalent in a lot of ways, obviously, because it's still very much a part of our culture. But for me, I definitely noticed the difference with like the style of games, and like the cookie clicker style games where you had to grind for any sort of reward benefit, you know, where you had to grind to get like coins and in-game purchasing and things like that as well. So it's all the whole thing's changed quite drastically. Definitely the decade of gaming, or the few decades of gaming, I should say, growing up in that era, and obviously the growing up before like the internet had really taken hold, and growing up with it having taken hold and stuff, and noticing how Wild West like it was to begin with, where everyone was sharing files. I mean, it didn't seem like even a big thing, it just seemed like the natural progression of things to file share online, and seeing how that's become paywalled, you know, in terms of music I'm talking about now, I guess. And the way that information, knowledge and art is like paywalled online, which is understandable because people graft hard for that and stuff, you know, and it's not a criticism or anything, and just kind of sharing the progression of change and seeing how the internet was quite open to being exploited at the beginning with, you know, like LimeWire and Napster and stuff like that. Speaking as someone who's had their work blog spotted and ripped and downloaded a million times, I've got not a million times, hundreds of times. I have no qualms with people doing it, but you know, it's nice for artists to make a bit of money from it as well, you know. The music business was really cutthroat. I suppose it's even more cutthroat now, but gosh, the grind was real with DIY touring to begin with. It was real. Like you travel through 3 countries to be paid like a handful of euros, you know, or a handful of pound coins or whatever, you know. Gosh, to see how far one comes, you know, one has to look back at the journey sometimes. I've been doing that a lot recently, reflecting on myself and how far I've come, really, and how sometimes you have to make things quite binary in terms of decision making, how it has to be either yes or no in order to make quick and effective decision making, at least for me anyway. When it comes down to the crunch, like, that's something I don't really struggle too much with, and that's something that I think I congratulate myself on. It's one thing that I'm happy that I've learned over the years, to make quick, effective decisions. How about you? What's one thing you'd like to congratulate yourself on, or one thing that you've grown to understand about yourself, or a new skill that you've acquired in the process? Kind of curious to know. Please let me know down below in the comments. I do hope that you're enjoying all of this glorious visual stuff as well, because we're going to see a lot more of like the country roads and the beaches in a sec as we travel around the old cliff bends. We see a lot more of the beaches dotted along the sides, and you see a lot more of the ocean, the Irish Sea, that separates North Wales from Ireland, Dublin Island in particular as well. I think that's more in line with this area of the world. Yeah. Gosh. How far one must journey in such a short space of time. You know, the days go so long at times, but the years go by so quickly, and I really understand that concept now at the age of 37. You know, I must admit I still feel very similar to what I was at the age of 27, at the age of like 21, 20 sometimes as well, maybe not so much 17, but that joy and spark for life is still there within me, you know. It never quite goes, and that's a good thing, you know. The childhood version of you never quite goes, you know. You still hold on to those things that sparked your interest as a child, you know, and I don't think that's something that's a negative in any way, shape or form. It's like that wonder and joy, and you feel it as a creative, because we're all creative in different ways as well, and we all manifest our creativity in a myriad of ways, don't we? We can manifest our creativity through accountancy, we can manifest our creativity through chemistry, we can manifest our creativity through writing, painting, making music, setting up meetings and whatever, you know, organising events. There's so many ways to be creative that it shouldn't just follow the stereotypical arts, inverted comma, idea, really. Creativity is a broad spectrum, and it fuels the soul to be able to be creative. It's an outlet of sorts. It's an unrestricted place to grow creativity, isn't it? An expression of oneself, the embodiment of one's true passion and purpose, maybe. That's always changing and ever growing. I don't know, I am just simply rambling for a little bit, if that's okay, rambling at you as well. Gosh, golly, oh gosh. I'm going to attempt to do some rambles with Wolf Mama as well, where we perhaps sit down on the couch and we do some rambling together. I don't know if that's something that you might be interested in, but she is more than interested in doing that as well, which is going to be awesome, because she has a great voice to relax to, I find anyway, and hopefully you'll find as well. You can also check out some of her artwork videos on the channel in there some way, so feel free to get involved there as well with that. Okay. I have to admit, I've never taken to doing like eating videos or mouth sound videos as such, other than the soft speaking videos that I do here on the channel. I try to keep that side of mouth sounds and that side of eating sounds, mukbang, etc., to a minimum, just because it's not something that really triggers me in a positive way as such, so if you ever notice why there aren't any videos in regards to that, that'll be why, because we do things that make us happy, don't we? Like panic buying. That's another bad joke. Please forgive me. Never understand panic buying when there's so much in the world available, there's more than enough food, an adequate amount of food for such a short space of time as well, it's ridiculous. Sorry, rant over. We're just riffing together, that's all, and this is a place where we can communicate openly and honestly with one another as well, right? That should be an okay thing to do, get it off our chests a little bit, or maybe not, I don't know. It's funny, I'm really glad that spring is here, because I already feel better in myself to see that regular sunshine out and about and around. It really just makes such a massive difference to how you're feeling in general. I mean, in spite of the current lockdown proceedings that are going on and whatnot, having that sun out and it getting lighter earlier and lighter later is really helping. It just makes quite a big difference, I find, to your headspace. As I said, in spite of the lockdown, of course, I think this would be twice as difficult if it was at the beginning of winter time, say. It would be a lot more difficult to do, but I don't know, seeing more of the sun is really, really helping quite a bit. I don't know if you find the same, but it's certainly helping me quite a bit. And even though I'm restricted in what I'm able to do in terms of going out, I have 1,000,001 creative ideas of videos and things I can do anyway, so that's never a concern, never a worry as such, I might ask, actually thinking about it, Wolf Mama, if we can sit down with her as she's working on a piece or something like that, and just have a conversation with her about it, to see if how she's getting on and how she's coping, maybe with the current situation that we're all in, the world's all in together. I don't know. And what's occurring to me right now is it'll be interesting to look back on this as like a time capsule in the future, and to see where you are in comparison. We endeavour together. Those words are not throwaway comments by me, is no what if, there is only certainty, and that certainty is that we will come through the other side. Okay, we will come through the other side, okay? I promise you that. I promise you that. I promise you that. We will come through the other side. We just have to stay safe and stay at home for a little bit, okay? Okay. It won't be forever, just long enough to create a flattening of the curve, okay? Okay. Interestingly enough, Tom Hanks and his wife have seemed to have recovered from the COVID illness as well. They're doing a lot better from what they were saying on their Instagram posts as well. So that's interesting and quite good to hear that people are recovering and that we just don't hear these scare stories all the time in the media, you know. Hey, what sort of a video would you like next? Would you like me to wander around the wastelands again? I wouldn't mind doing that if you'd like to, or I could even wander around Skyrim or somewhere like this, you know. I really don't mind at all. It'd be kind of cool for me to do something like this, or just sit back and wander together. I'd even try to do a longer video. It'd have to be in the evening or something like that when it's quietest. One thing that I was hoping with the lockdown quarantine situation is that it would be a lot more quieter to do these ASMR videos, you know, just to push them out there. And but alas, as you can hear, the seagulls are in the background a little bit here and there. But yeah, what can you do? I think in general, getting videos out to you right now is pretty important, really, pretty important. You know, there's this one that does a lot and it helps me sleep. It goes like deep moments of slumber, and it always puts me to sleep. He does it so well. One of his sleep chamber videos, I think, it goes like deep moments of slumber, and it works a treat every time. It's crazy to me. And I think Nicholas is the other one who really helps me relax and sleep with his trigger videos and his rhythmic tapping. It's incredible. It's out of this world. His videos are just sublime. They help every single time. Relaxation and just zoning out. He does this really cool thing where he will play the loudest part of the video at the beginning so people have an idea of the volume that they can set the video to. And he tends to do longer videos as well, which is always awesome as well. Yeah, he's one of the best as well. There's so many good artists out there helping people relax and who have their own skills, their tapping skills, their role-playing skills, their skills for finding like crunchy sounds, their skills for engaging personalities. It's such a blessing to be in a world where this sort of content and this sort of wellness exists. I can't imagine what's coming down the future, but it's exciting, isn't it? It is for me anyway. I'm just going to take a quick drink of coffee. And really, a big thanks to YouTube for having for creating the platform for this to exist on. Really, you know, at least from my perspective, anyway. You know, side ASMR content, I tend to have a broad spectrum of videos and things that I watch. I often watch some commentary channels as well for my own enjoyment. The right as well. Colossal is crazy. I haven't seen him upload in a long time, but his content is always really good. And I got sucked into the whole Reddit video thing because it's just easy to have on in the background as you're doing things, you know. So it'd be like speech to text to speech videos from Reddit posters and Reddit experiences made into a video, but you wouldn't necessarily have to watch the screen and stuff. You just have it on in the background as you're going about your daily business and just hearing people's stories, really. And I think that's where it is. We're all just connecting them through stories with one another in a really strange and roundabout way, I guess, you know. We're all just trying to connect on some level, I guess, trying to relate to one another, and now's as good a time as any to do that, especially with the advent of internetage usage, and with this quarantine downtime for a few weeks, you know. I mean, it's a rarity where you get asked to just stay at home. I mean, there are massive concerns as well in regards to it. People's livelihoods, people's health, the complications that come along with this. But the core message is to stay at home and stay safe. And you can't argue with that for the greater good, I guess. You know, I have loved ones with dementia who are I haven't seen for weeks on end, who are stuck in care homes and stuff like that. And you know, I'm trying to think how best I can support them, but there's nothing I can do. So we're all in this together, my friend. We're all in this together, and we will prevail and come through the other side. Okay, I promise you we will. Okay, we're just gonna go one day at a time, and you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna continue to be uploading videos and content, and I'm even gonna try some live streaming and stuff as well, where I do like a botch job of maybe just setting up the phone camera in the lounge space with like a video game on in the background and some conversation and stuff like that, and maybe something like that, make it a bit less formal, more informal, you know. We can have a bit of a watch party or something like that. I don't know. I haven't done a watch party since I was like 17 years of age, where we used to invite all my mates over to my house, and we used to rent dodgy like horror movies, but really rubbish ones. I think we rented one called The Colobus or something, which was a really terrible movie. And the word colobus means without, and that's where you get the colobus monkeys, because they haven't got any thumbs. So it means like without. For them it means without thumbs. Opposable thumbs, which is a little bit like cats, I suppose. Gosh, I miss my cats so much. So much. Gosh. You know what? Gratitude to you, my friend. Gratitude to you, because this is all part of wellness, about taking time out to distract yourself and to move away from the hyper intensity of what is going on. And I thank you for that. For this is affirmative action in doing something like this, in being able to distract yourself with the mundane for a little bit. You're moving away from the intensity and reducing your anxieties and teaching yourself an important coping skill, that when something is aversive, you move away from it, and you don't have to be around it. You don't have to expose yourself to an aversive stimulus, you know. And I applaud you for that, my friend. I'm not actually going to applaud you, because that would be very jarring, because you might be asleep right now for all I know. And I would wake you up. Oh, gosh. videos, like long audio videos, like ear brushing or something, let me know in the comments as well. I like to create videos for you and what you like, and any way that I can help you relax is a win-win situation for both of us, really. So I'm always keen to do that, Okay. I think one of the weirdest videos I got asked to do was to scratch my beard. so unusual. That everyone has their own trigger sound. So respect everyone and their own individual sounds and triggers. It's not weird, it's just unusual, I think, to have a beard scratching thing. But I guess that's vanilla by modern day standards. Okay. I think I'm going to possibly end up wrapping up this video shortly now. Let me just take a quick swig of my coffee again. Okay. So, really, thank you so much for stopping by today and, spending a bit of time with me as we ramble on through to the sleep. I hope that this brings you some rest and relaxation wherever you are in the world, my friend. We are all in this together right now, more than ever right now. So I am going to attempt to upload as regularly as possible to help you relax during this moment, during this short while we're together, where it might feel a little bit a crisis point